Hello everyone, welcome to mindovermania, where we keep your head above the chaos. My name is Chris, and today I'm recording another pick a card reading where you get to choose your own intuitively channeled messages. Today's topic is going to be what's going on with the third party. So the purpose of this pick a card reading today is to kind of give you clarity about what's going on with your person that's in a relationship. Now, please keep in mind that this relationship reading is supposed to be positive and supportive towards your healing and trajectory. So, for example, I want to make sure that you guys are trying to understand. I want you guys to understand some of the deeper dynamics that are going on, so that way you can make a decision of if someone is worth pursuing or not, if you should stay or go. I really don't want you guys to be trying to, take someone's person or cause any conflict with somebody else. So again, please remember that these messages are for entertainment purposes only, and I'm only sharing information that's for your highest good and for everyone involved in the situation. I'm not going to be revealing, personal information that's going to be harmful to either yourself or the third party, and sometimes you guys got to be able to accept the part of just letting your person go, be free with who they are. But anyways, though, again, the intention for this message is for clarity purposes only. So, like I said, use your intuition, make good choices, y'all. Yeah, and wishing you the best on, whatever dynamic is going on. You have 5 piles to choose from today, so I wanted to give you guys a couple more options because I really don't like making third-party readings. That said, though, I wanted just to kind of get a video out there that compromises a couple different scenarios for y'all, since there's a variety of situations out there. Anyways, y'all, I will see you at your pile. Take care. Hello everyone, you have chosen pile number 1 with Live, Laugh, Loads. And these are going to be your messages on what's going on with the third party. So for some reason, while I was tapping into your energy right off the bat, I was hearing take responsibility. I was also hearing laughter and whatnot, so maybe you don't take this third party very seriously, or there's some kind of a sense of humor thing going on. But I see laughter a lot, so maybe you've been making fun of the third party, or maybe you've been making fun of your person for dating this person. I can see you guys definitely judging the third party's appearance, maybe, or you've been kind of talking badly about this person. Now, whether it's deserved or not, who is to say? I'll let the cards tell you. But, with Live, I'm kind of hearing, from your spirit guide teams, like, relax and go live your life, and then with Loads, like, I don't know if you guys are speculating this person's queer or there's something going on, but it's kind of like Spirit's like, maybe you shouldn't be spewing anything or saying anything else. You know what I mean? Take responsibility, and I'm hearing like move closer. So maybe there's something that you made a short-sighted comment, or you made an assumption, or you exposed a secret that wasn't meant for you to expose. I just see some kind of like an embarrassment or a trigger of somebody's or some kind. So with intuitive, though, I feel like you're really smart and you sense things about people, but that sometimes you can be a little too smart for your own good. Again, with laughter, it's kind of like, I feel like maybe you saw through someone's bullshit and you were laughing about it, and it really wasn't something to laugh about, or there's something about like it kind of came across as cruel either to others or to this person, but the third party's like, I heard the word bullshit, you know what I mean? So maybe there's some kind of like, this feels messy. Okay, like this feels messy. So for example, like maybe the third party is like a secret or like a boyfriend or something like that, and like you exposed it by asking like maybe an innocent question or just kind of like talking about it, and then as rumor spreads or as words kind of got investigated into, it was kind of like you didn't know the truth, but you figured it out. And there's something like fixed. So maybe like the situation's fixed now. However, it's kind of like maybe there was some tears and some crying over it. Yeah, someone did like a cleanse or a clearing, or maybe you need to clear your energy out. I don't know. Let's get more information about this third party. Yeah, there's some kind of a betrayal between your person and the third party. And you expose the truth in some kind of way. Because like I said, it's kind of like you kind of confer. It's almost like, yeah, like I said, I view it as like maybe you made a joke innocently about somebody and then someone took it seriously and then they knew the truth because they were like, wait, that explains all this. And so like with living, maybe the way this third party lives is different than the way you used to or they used to. And with laughing and loads, it's kind of like they're trying to, it feels like they're trying to like live their life in a more positive way. Or if it's not positive, it's like I kind of think of like what this originally would be like live, laugh, love, you know, trying to pull the whole like, oh my gosh, we're just like a normal typical family, blah blah blah. Meanwhile, they've got all kinds of secrets, doing all kinds of stuff behind the spouse's back. I also heard back like, ooh, oh, that's messy. I could see this person cheating on somebody with other men, like, or women. Like, again, this isn't meant to out anybody. It just feels more of like the third party's not truthful about their lifestyle. And again, with like loads, it's kind of, it just feels like there's like a lot going on with your person's, or with the third party, I guess. Because like, it's almost like I feel like there must be some kind of a separation between your person and the third party, because I feel like whatever this truth was, they backed away or they split off or something. And there was a lot of tears about that. So like, again, maybe someone broke up with someone after figuring out like, oh my gosh, like the third party wasn't who I thought they were. You know what I mean? So we've got Queen of Swords, which I feel like this is kind of more representative of you, where it was like you came out swinging and it backfired towards somebody else. You know what I mean? So like, again, I could see someone who used to maybe make fun of gay people, you know, and it's kind of like then suddenly it got exposed what the truth was. And it, you know, ruined a family, or there was some kind of upset of some kind, or they were like, I could definitely see some people where when they figured out that this person was either queer or cheating or spousal abuse or whatever the heck was going on, like I could see like their parents trying to swoop in and cover it up and be like, well, we'll forgive them maybe, but it's like everybody's on edge. You know, and it's like Christmas was really hard. You know what I mean? Between this family, because it's kind of sitting there being like, wow, the truth is out there finally. And it's starting to actually affect our business, affect our money, affect our status socially, you know, because, you know, spousal abuse isn't okay. You know, like regardless if it's cheating or verbal abuse or whatever, and you did something that exposed that, or there's something about like the experience that you had really exposed the truth of somebody else. And also like their volatility too, because with laughter, I'm almost hearing like with this third party, they used to cheat all the time, and they brag about it to their friends. And so then when this third party was kind of like let go, you know, they were just kind of laughing it off, treating it like it was no big deal. And yeah, like I don't know if this person's a gold digger, because like again, I can't tell if it's like, I don't want to say narcissistic abuse, because some of these people aren't narcissists, some of them are just trash. But like this is like really trashy behavior. You know what I mean? These are like the people that cover up and try to like pretend like they're wealthy when they really just grift off of others. And again, I can't tell like what's the difference between your person and the third party. And it really feels like all of the attention is on the third party right now, because people are starting to back away and say, oh, you know the truth now and you're not backing down. You know what I mean? Like, it's almost like this third party doesn't care about the relationship. They don't really care about the exposure because they're just like, I'm just living my life, ha ha ha. Like, everybody does this in their spare time, and it's like, no. No, they don't. um, yeah. Yeah, it's almost like I could literally see this person, like, it's kind of like the kind of dude that say they're completely okay with admitting that they cheated on their spouse with another guy, and then they just like point blank say to people's face, oh yeah, but that's normal, that's okay, you know what I mean, because I'm not cheating with another girl. And they say that dead ass serious, and everyone in the room's like, you do know that's still cheating though, right? You know, accepting that you're queer is one thing, but like, you shouldn't have gone and slept with how many dudes without protection, without whatever. You know what I mean? Like, this is like really kind of that kind of messy energy of, even if that's not the exact situation, there is some kind of passion, like, yeah, I don't know. I feel like this person just does things to get their kicks out of people. You know what I mean? Or to just kind of get off. You know what I mean? That's why it's kind of in line with sometimes what narcissists do, where it's kind of like they don't even really do things because they want to. They do it just for the fun or the exposure or to cause chaos and mess. With Page of Cups, I'm feeling a little bit of a immature emotions with this person. I'm seeing, like, you know, the cat looking in the fish bowl and being like just waiting to steal the fish when nobody's looking. And when it comes to you though, I think you saw this person for who they were, and so they were keeping their eye out on you because they knew you were going to do something. Maybe you were going to rescue the third party or the your person, or yeah, because it kind of feels like there's your person, and then the third party was kind of like, oh, you know, you're going to expose the truth. Well, they're going to stay with me. Ha ha ha. And then when they moved away or took a step back, they're like, huh? What? Oh no. Yeah, because I'm sitting there feeling like this could be a guy or a girl. You know what I mean? Because, I don't know, like, for me, like, I'm really supportive of the LGBTQ relationship or the LGBTQ community, but this doesn't feel like a queer person that's stable or like part of the community. You know what I mean? That's why I'm kind of like, there's some kind of a secret here that doesn't want to be exposed. So, again, don't assume it's LGBTQ, but it really just feels like someone's doing inappropriate, taboo things intentionally to try to harm somebody else. And it's just like not okay. You know what I mean? Like, I'm really not okay with that sort of shit. Regardless of what your identity is. And like with the hangman in reverse, this person, I'm seeing like with the silly string, and this person refuses to take accountability or see other people's perspectives. And so I see them literally getting tangled up in a mess, but they kind of don't care. You know, I'm hearing like chaos magic, or they just love to thrive in chaos. You know what I mean? Because they get away with it every single time. Because again, it's almost like, you know, either they use like white privilege or some kind of privilege in their life to project onto other people, and they just always get away with it because the family is more worried about the shame aspect of everything that's happening and just covering it up and then letting this person go off and do whatever they're going to do. Because they're like, well, it's because they're family. But it's really about money, you know? And I'm also hearing like collusion or something like that. So maybe this person was kind of set up in a financial marriage with somebody. Yeah, this kind of feels like old school, where like maybe, ironically, maybe this third party is like, again, if this person is closeted, it kind of feels like there's like a truth of not being allowed to be themselves. And so this is kind of like their rebellious act against all these systems, you know, is creating controversy and pointing things out and doing it in their own weird, twisted way. With Eight of Pentacles, I do feel like this person works hard at their job, though. This person is kind of goal-oriented, so to me, it's kind of like yeah, I see them just really focused and fixated on something. Because, like, even though they want money, it doesn't really feel like it's as superficial as I initially thought. Because I feel like once I kind of just exposed the energy, it softened a little bit. And it's kind of being like, hey, I'm just doing what I got to do to survive. You know what I mean? Because I don't really feel like there's an alternative. You know, so I feel like this is the kind of person that either was bullied a lot growing up, or like their truth is too hard to accept. So then they go in and ruin other people's lives. Yeah, I'm just hearing the word harsh. You know, harsh and cut out and cut off. And it's like, I don't think this person recognizes that, you know, their family actually loves them and they have care and support around them, because they're, again, I think they're kind of like blinded or blindsided by something or someone. Okay, we've got broken wishbone. Wish will not be granted. Basket recognition. Reward for merit. Torch. Spiritual development, enlightenment, awareness, and understanding. Oof. Oh my gosh. Okay. Broken ring. Parting of ways in either romance or business. Yeah, so I do see this third party person breaking something off with either your person or another person. Again, I just feel like all the focus is on the third party. So are you guys like thirsting for the third party? Instead of the other one? Oh my gosh, that's kind of hilarious. But yeah, like my reaction to this torch, I was just immediately feeling like I heard the word broken. You know what I mean? So like with broken ring, you know, I could definitely see this like ending a marriage, you know, with the parting of ways in either romance or business. Yeah, like either someone broke up with someone who they were with for a long time and they're just laughing about it like they don't care. Yeah, so maybe, you know, you thought someone was supportive. Meanwhile, the other person was like dying inside because they were gay. Or if not queer, like there was just something about this person that they showed who they really were, and how miserable they were before and how they were trying to perform for others. Okay, I'm feeling like I need to pull these cards out. So we got, I don't know how to feel. I want you back. I want to start over. Do I still have a chance? So, ironically, with this third party, I do still think they want to be with this person. Simply because it's safety and for protection. With the, do I still have a chance? It's kind of like they know that they needed to back off from this other mess or situation that they were getting involved in, either this person or whatever. But like, I want you back. It really feels like they still want to go back to your person, right? Because it's kind of like, okay, I went and had my fun. Now I need to go back to living normal life. You know what I mean? And with the I don't know how to feel, it's almost like this person has intentionally neglected their truth and their emotions. And it feels very much like gimme. You know what I mean? Give me this, give me that. You know, almost as a way to deflect from their truth. With the I want to start over, you know, I could see this person lamenting and going back to their spouse and saying, hey, you know, it was just a phase. I was exploring. I was blah, 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 blah. Do I still have a chance? I even see this person maybe coming to you guys, pile number one, where they're going to try making you choose between them and their relationship or something like that, trying to like project or blame you when you're like, you know, I just exposed something that I had no idea was going on. You know, like, do I still have a chance? You know, and if anything, I feel like this person could easily manipulate the narrative to be like, oh, well, you just wanted to get with so-and-so, so that's why I had to release blah, blah, blah. I was like, the Epstein files? So are these people political? Oh my gosh. That's hilarious. We've got fair man, dealings or relationships with a man with blonde, gray, or white hair, and bear. Danger, especially in money matters. Yeah. So whoever this third party person was not playing around with you. And I was just like, are you talking about the pile number one? And they're like, yes. So I almost feel like pile number, I heard the word 3, so maybe pile number 3 is going to be relevant. But like, you guys, pile number 1, this person is like the love interest of your person or this person over here. And so they are very protective. And they're like, I want to start over, but I almost heard like, I want to start a war. Oh my gosh. Yeah, it's like this person, maybe they'd known your person for a long time and you didn't know that there was something going on between the two of them. And now the third party is like, don't touch my man or don't touch my woman. You know what I mean? I want to start over with them. And like, we can now be truthful. You know what I mean? Even though it's been hidden for so long. And like this person, I don't think realizes how much they've hurt power number one or power number one's person. I don't know. Because it kind of feels like maybe, I don't want to lead you on and say that your person wants you over this third party, but it's kind of like I see backed into a corner where it's kind of like with wish not will not be granted. It's almost like the third party, because of their decisions that they made, again, sleeping around, cheating, doing all this stuff. It's like, yeah, like your person is of course going to be upset. You know what I mean? Like, even if this was like a little love affair thing, which I don't think it was, but like I feel like when this goes public or when other people find out about it, like you're going to be rewarded for telling the truth and being honest with somebody. You know what I mean? Versus the third party was like, I'm just living life, just vibes, hey. Like spiritual development, enlightenment, awareness, and understanding. I feel like you carry that torch of enlightening other people, even unintentionally. You know what I mean? You're just bright and observant and, with danger and bear, like this person feels like the third party views you as kind of dangerous, you know what I mean? And threatening their fragile little home, because I could see this person basically without their partner or your person, I guess. I see their house being very bare, having minimal furniture, not really much. They don't like spending time at home because it reminds them of stuff that went on at home. And I kind of see them being like, well, without, this person here, I'm just alone. And I just sit there and do nothing. Like, I literally have nothing else better to do than, like, watch the fishbowl. And I'm like, dude, like, that's so sad. Like, no, don't, like, get over yourself. With Fair Man, with the blonde hair and all that stuff, it kind of feels like there's, like, a projection that this person's trying to live up to. You know what I mean? Like, maybe this person was raised by really abusive people, and because they internalize that hate, of either queer people or different things, they are punishing themselves and the people around them. Meanwhile, I'm kind of sitting there being like, you chose like safe people. You know what I mean? Like, I'm sure if you would have come out from the beginning or were more honest, and shared the truth, like you'd be okay. You'd be safe. But with Fair Man, like it just kind of tells me that like this person's really sensitive about like, not having brown hair or blonde hair, blue eyes, white. You know what I mean? Like there's definitely some kind of like an image or a holier than thou thing that really damaged them when they were growing up. So yeah, this person just sounds like they have a lot of trauma. With I want you back. It's kind of funny because like, were y'all in a love triangle? I don't know. Like there's different energies here, so I apologize. Only take what resonates. But with the I want you back, it kind of feels like, this third party kind of wants a relationship, even kind of with you almost, because like I said before, when it was like, when that person started to soften after their trauma or truth kind of came out, there's something about like, they want to turn your back on you, but they also recognize that you see them for who they are and you accept them. And that's kind of a hard thing for them to realize and accept, that other people can love them as they are in truth, because they were taught growing up that people who accepted you were awful people. You know what I mean? And it's kind of like when you showed them that they're accepted for those sorts of things, like obviously hurting people's not okay, but also like, you know, when you've been abused and all that other stuff, like, you know, like with this broken wishbone, it's kind of like, hey, like, you know what I mean? Like you were really hurt, and here's your opportunity to kind of live more authentically in your truth and not bypass the bad stuff that happened to you. You know, like you can't fix the relationships that you broke, but like you'll laugh again and you'll probably get married and find people that actually do want you for you. You know, when you learn to kind of start over and heal. But like this kind of a conflict though, like projecting and blaming pile number one doesn't resolve what you are and what you're not. You know? Ugh. Yeah, there was some kind of like some trauma from childhood that they're trying to avoid. Like that's like not good. Um yeah. And there's something like too about like a wish fulfillment. Like I keep hearing like you're my wish fulfillment, you know? And again, I don't know if that's about you or your person, but there's some kind of just like fantasy that this person's trying to strive and achieve when the reality is like they can't control those emotions, thoughts, and feelings on their own, you know? And like they're able to, but they feel like they can't. So they project all this stuff onto other people. This is really sad. So, yeah, again, like, I don't want to recommend reaching out to this third party person, but I mean, if they're already upset with you and if they're willing to talk with you, maybe just have an honest conversation with them to kind of say, hey, you know, like for some of you, that's probably not a good idea because they're already pretty triggered and, you know, you don't want to get involved in someone else's business. But if they've already kind of blamed you and pinpointed you as a target or something like that, I don't see what's wrong with, you know, kind of exposing your passion or your truth to be able to say, hey, you know, like, I still believe you deserve to find happiness and whatever, and we can hold each other both accountable. You know what I mean? For understanding how it's better to appreciate people for who they are and, you know, trying to find better ways of healthy exchanging the truth. But I think this was a tough one where, you know, just going and living your life sometimes can result in messy behavior and messy things and truths that come out that are imperfect. So, anyways, I wouldn't consider myself an expert on navigating this sort of situation. All of this is channeled, so personally with these messages, I would not agree with going about it this way, but that's kind of what the message is. So, yeah. Anyways, though, y'all, thank you guys so much for stopping by. Please like, subscribe, comment down below. Please discuss this with a therapist too, probably before you talk to anybody or a professional. Yeah, and maybe talk to some LGBTQ people to get their thoughts and opinions on how to best approach this situation, because, you know, there's a lot of nuances to a situation like this. And, you know, yeah, do your due diligence and be supportive of yourself and your person and whatever you feel is right, you know. Do what you need to do best. But yeah. Anyways, y'all, I will see you all next time. Take care. Bye. Hello, everyone. You have chosen pile number 2. And these are going to be your messages on what's going on with the third party. So, right off the bat, y'all, take a deep breath. Okay, so maybe something got exposed. I feel like really calm and healing. So maybe you guys found out your your partner was cheating with this third party person, and you're trying to seek clarity. I'm seeing you guys, maybe you're very spiritual or gifted, or I'm seeing a lot of like cleansing and you guys just really trying to find peace and healing in this situation. Like, it's almost like you're not upset, or if you were, you're just sort of like resigned to the truth and just saying, I just want to learn a bit more. You're feeling kind of guilty, like it's your fault that, like, maybe you came in between two people and whatnot. And Spirit's saying, like, no, 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 no. It wasn't your fault. This person made a choice. Okay. And that person, these two people are responsible for their decisions made in this quote unquote mess. Okay. And I just want to say, sending you guys hugs and big love, because a lot of y'all are beating yourselves up and trying to take accountability of your person or your partner when it's really their responsibility. They're the ones who made the mistake, But let's see what's going on with this third party here. I was hearing like this third party person kind of feels a little bit abusive, maybe towards you or another person, and maybe that's why you're not really as upset, because maybe you're kind of used to these dynamics. I'm like, you're kind of used to people treating you like shit, hun. That's not okay. I can't do this. You let me down. I hide my feelings. So I kind of see like the person that your partner either cheated on, or whoever this third party person is. Because like maybe you're not even together with your person, but like this feels like really just a really unhealthy dynamic between this third party and your person. With the I hide my feelings, I feel like this person manipulates your person all the time with like guilt tripping, like, you let me down. I can't do this because you're with her, and blah, blah, blah. And I feel like there's like a lot of like going back and forth and making promises, and like your person's like trying to keep her to stay or keep things quiet and being like, well, the reason why I can't leave. You know what I mean? So like maybe you guys are married and this is the third party that's trying to pull your person away and, is guilt tripping them. Meanwhile, you're like, well, I have to stay for the kids or whatever. And you caught your person red-handed, or you've been praying about this situation, because I think your intuition kind of already knows what's happening, and maybe this message is just for confirmation. Yeah, your heart just really needs to be focusing on healing right now, not the third party. But okay, we've got scissors, disappointment, and some affair. Target, a goal-oriented person. Tulip, great passion, and wedge. Someone is trying to come between you and a friend or something that you want. Yeah, this person is like trying to sabotage a marriage, a deep connected relationship. I also could maybe see this person being falsely spiritual, so claiming they're religious, like, I'm a good Christian woman, or I'm like, spiritual and whatever, and like that's who they are, that's their persona out in the public, but in private, they've got a goal, right? With this target, it's almost like they know they hit the bullseye with either your person or your partner. And with scissors, like they're intentionally trying to cut the cords between you and your person, and I could see them have already been wed, so this kind of gives me the vibe of like, this person was like liking your partner's photos, or your partner saw them and was like, oh, I'm gonna be a good person, and maybe not acknowledge them, but then they were like, oh, well, she just wants to be friends and she seems pretty cool, so yeah, I'm gonna let this person in. And slowly they started to like bring your person in. And maybe some of you guys are like, oh, well, they use magic and sorcery or whatever, and I'm like, I don't really think so. I just think your partner or person was being weak, and I think they feel bad for letting you down. I really don't think that this was personal again. With your partner, I don't think they were intending to hurt you, but I think they were trying to hide their feelings for this person. So maybe this person's really attractive, maybe kind of classy at first. I could definitely see this person being like a class act. Like they know exactly how to put on a show. But they're lying, and you kind of know the truth. You know what I mean? I see like you have a bright light from spirit. You actually have integrity. You kind of know when someone's heart truly sparkles. You know what I mean? And I think that's by design, and especially like with false spirituality. And I'm also hearing like public figures or people that are just really flashy outwardly. You can't criticize them ever. Like there's never any accountability, or they're always able to brush things. You're like, how does this person get away with it? And it's like, it's because they're spiritually bankrupt. Okay. And like, life is hard when you're a good person and you tell the truth. Okay? Like, that's what I think a lot of people need to understand is being truthful can get you hurt sometimes. Being truthful means acknowledging the yucky things in life. And, like, for example, like when people talk about pregnancy, now on the internet, women are sharing truths about it. Pregnancy is kind of gross. You know what I mean? It's not glamorous. But for generations of women, they hid information about what pregnancy life is actually like, and all the things that could happen and how your body changes and how people leave and blah, blah, blah. It exposed a lot of truths of, why people just got hurt, you know what I mean, for no reason, supposedly, and they were let down, you know? And I really truly believe that this person they were weak. They were either fed up with something or they couldn't tell you the truth because they were ashamed. And this person manipulated that and exploited that. You got 6 of Pentacles, 5 of Wands, Page of Swords, and 4 of Wands in reverse. I almost saw that as the 4 of Swords. So I almost misspoke. Yeah, so there's something about you that, you're really kind and generous to this person. So, like, again, I could definitely see this person either being someone that was either close to your person or partner, and there's something about you that really highlighted both of these people's mistakes or errors. Right, so with this like cooking and baking, I could definitely see the third party being a baker or being creative or again giving back to community. Like this, like it's almost like people would never suspect that this person was the one that willed your partner towards them. But it's also, I feel like the energy of this person's used to just getting their way. They use their body for show. They're used to using it to get their way and to hide. But there's a lot of things hidden beneath those layers and masks. And that's the way that this person wants it, And I feel like for you guys, pile number 2, I feel like you guys really quiet your voice down. You guys really try to remain small because you're scared that people are going to throw you under the bus, ruin your business. I'm also hearing like brainwash or gaslight. But it's like, I think you're just kind of used to this pattern with people, because you are kind and gentle and healing and you have a voice and you need to use it, at least for yourself. Like you're hiding your feelings to keep other people from being uncomfortable when you're the one that's bottling up all of that. Like you need to have courage either to break up with your person or have an honest conversation because this is eating you alive. And just letting them do their thing, or even if she's gone now, like, you have to let your person know how this makes you feel. Okay? And break things off, or at least step back and have your own goals. You know what I mean? I feel like you put way too much emphasis and analysis into the situation instead of just seeing it for what it is. You were hurt by this person's actions, and you don't need to justify that to anybody. Yeah, I'm just feeling really soft, and just please be gentle on yourselves, guys. 5 of Wands is all about conflict. And it's interesting too, because like, again, I'm almost hearing like maybe this person was in a coven, or maybe you were part of like a community of some kind, and then this person showed the truth of exactly who this person was. Yeah, and I'm just hearing like abusive. So you might want to pay attention to some of your other friendships around you in the circle, because if they're accustomed to abusive behavior or predatory behavior, especially like with women particularly stealing partners, because this could also be a guy too, but in general this is feeling overwhelmingly like feminine energy. I see a lot of them just kind of like playing dumb and just having quiet resentment and holding back. And I just see like this person everyone's just kind of like dancing. It feels like really like flying monkeys. I just want to let you know that like you're not crazy. And I understand if you're afraid of these other people, but you have to understand that Spirit's stronger and guiding you to make a decision close to your heart. Like, keep this close to your chest, but allow Spirit's light to reveal what you need to see in order to make your next choice. Right? Because I feel like you're kind of shutting down the conversation too quickly, or I don't want to say you're not curious about it, because that's obviously why you're here watching this reading, but like, it kind of feels like you're thinking either small acts, like either passive aggressive or pulling away or doing whatever that's going to resolve it, when it's like, I think you're just too stubborn to admit that sometimes you just need to break away, and it doesn't mean that you're hurting people. Like, there's something that maybe an abuser told you a long time ago, that, well, you're the abusive person if you get angry at your partner for doing this. You know what I mean? When it's like, no, you were hurt. Okay? You're allowed to express negative emotions and frequencies, especially if you were hurt. You are not like your abuser, and you are not like this person. Okay? And I think that's why people are walking and stepping all over you, because, again, the way that you use your voice and the way it carries and travels matters. Okay? You don't need to get all big and angry. You know what I mean? You don't need to be shouting things. All you got to be able to say is enough is enough. Use it in your quiet, soft voice. But like, a quiet voice can be loud. And it's the truth. You know what I mean? Like, you are deeply spiritual, and that light, like, light can be soft, but it doesn't make it any less powerful. And I think, like, you shining your light in general is going to help the situation more than anything. We've got reconciliation, silent moves, haunted. Yeah. I see this person trying to reconcile with you. Because, again, maybe you did find out and had a conversation already. And this person is going to come back and try to cheer you up, gaslight you, talk down to you or back to you. And you're kind of used to just taking it. Saying, I understand, you're human beings, love and light or whatever. And it's like, this person doesn't have any regrets. Maybe some of them do, but like, you can't just... I'm sorry, this is me and my older sister vibes, where, you can make a decision yourself on how you want to handle this, but the reconciliation isn't meant for you. It's meant for this person. So take that information with what you will. With silent moves and haunted, again, I'm feeling this energy that's very much like, well, my back was against the wall, the way he was looking at me, or blah, blah, blah. I have this childhood wound, he was haunting my dreams. Especially if this other person was the fake spiritual. They were like, well, we're soulmates, or we have a connection, and we're playing out some karma, and like, meanwhile, they're doing all kinds of stuff without your knowledge. Secret moves. I'm like, are you kidding me? Like, they're not going to tell you the truth, guys. And the best part about this is you don't need to see the truth. All you have to accept is, this wasn't okay. I was hurt. I deserve to be able to protect myself. I deserve to be able to set boundaries, protect my energy, protect my family. And if you want to hide your feelings, okay. But you still need to act appropriately and allow the truth to work its course. Don't protect either of these people in this situation, because accountability needs to come through spirit the way that it needs to, And I feel like you guys are a little resistant to allowing it to be what it is. Like, if this person gets in trouble, it's not your fault. I see this person wanting to tell you to be quiet. Be quiet. And it's like, you're letting me down if you expose this. It's going to ruin my reputation. You can't do this to me, blah, blah, blah. And it's just like, they're acting like a child. You know what I mean? A child who gets away with everything and gets what they want. And that's not how the world works. And maybe you're meant to be their lesson. This might be an important time to expose to you that your voice has power. Wow, it's like I'm talking and it's like I feel so much better saying this out loud. Like, wow. Um yeah, cuz for some of you guys it's just like you don't need to get angry. Okay? Like for some of you the beautiful way that you expose your truth is through happiness. And I also heard like maybe some jealousy. But like you don't need it, you know? And it's almost like too like when I heard like negative emotions, I was just like they're emotions. Being upset is a positive thing because it means you cared. Okay? It means you give a shit about this other person. And like you're allowed to experience your authentic truth and not have it be weaponized against you. Okay? That's what's happening is your emotions and response to something that legitimately hurts you. You know, a promise was broken. You know, like cheating is not okay. That's how people get STDs and all kinds of crazy stuff happens. But you're so used to playing small and soft and thinking that you experiencing any emotion beyond being quiet is negative. That's exactly what this person wants. That's exactly how they hurt you because you shouldn't let emotions that create chaos. They over exaggerate it. Okay? Like I'm sure if you came to me and told me this story, I'd be like, "Oh my god, how could this happen to you?" You know what I mean? You're so sweet. And I would get angry on your behalf because I own my anger. And it's almost like I heard like righteous and it's just like people are allowed to feel how they feel, you know? Now, if I went on a holy crusade and was like doing all kinds of stuff that's out of line, that's one thing. But like in this case, this person is using your emotions against you, using the fact that you won't stand up for yourself to hurt you more and to hurt your other person. Like, it's not okay. Like, this person is hurting lots of other people too. It's not like you're unique, okay? And so sometimes, you know, like with great passion, you know, this could be a really amazing, great person. It doesn't make what they did to you okay. All right? Like, again, with this wedge, you're allowed to, I don't want to say like feel a grudge or like there's just some kind of an energy here of like, you need to let go of doing the right thing and let yourself do the honest thing. And it could be letting this person go. You know, like you don't have to force forgiveness right away. You don't have to jump through hoops or mend or bold or yeah, I'm hearing like I see you like a contortionist trying to wrap your way around something so that you don't have to deal with confrontation. And that's just simply hurting you more. And that's kind of like allowing the abuser to just get away with it because they don't have to do anything. You know? Yeah, and just understand that there's some stuff that's still hidden from you. And you don't need to figure it out, but you do need to start blocking that energy out. You know, asking your spirit guide team for protection, asking for your voice to come out in healthy ways. You know? It's like you don't need to do that much, but your feelings need to be given a voice, you know, and start saying those things, even if it's quiet and soft, even if it's talking to a friend about it, and really tell someone authentically who you are and how you feel. Because who you are is a gift from God, a gift from the universe, a gift from your parents, your family. You're so loved and so amazing and bright. And, you know, I think of it almost like, you know, a lot of society celebrates things like the sun. But the moon, how does the moon move? She moves in phases. She's quiet and soft, but still very, very bright. And, you know, I'd say just move like the moon. You know, graceful, guiding, sometimes mysterious. That can be your power and truth too. You know, because look at all the poetry and things that the moon inspires. Just like you. And it has its own gifts and way of being. And that's why I'm just saying, like, your voice itself has its own level of truth. And you don't need to go out there and be fierce and beat everybody up. You know what I mean? I'm just saying, like, leave that to the people that's authentic to them. But for you guys, that softness has a place in your space, okay? And you have a space that you belong in too. So light your candles, say your prayers, cleanse your energy, cry, like really cry, and then just accept whatever the situation is, you know, and let spirit do the work. You know, you don't need to create an explosion, but like, even if it does, it's not your fault. Okay? Just stay to your truth. Stay strong in your commitment to peace and know yourself really deeply and well. Be well, my friend. Anyways, y'all, thank you guys so much for stopping by. Please like, subscribe, comment down below if this resonated with you. Links are in the description down below. I will see you all next time. Take care. Bye. Hello everyone, you have chosen pile number 3 with the hat. And these are going to be your messages on the third party. What's going on? So already off the bat, the third party's feeling attacked, okay? Because for some reason I was feeling like either protesting or grief. I was like trying to ground and get everybody else's energy out of the way. And there's something like you have to be kind of careful about optics and logistics. So maybe it's because I was just freshly looking at Reddit. I took a break in between doing readings and I got into an argument with someone that we ended up coming together, and they were agreeing with stuff I was saying, and I was like basically frustrated because I was making a point. This person jumped to conclusions when I was like, did I say that? No. And it's kind of like when there's all these different opinions and whatnot, it makes it so easy for a manipulative person to come in and change the narrative, or even not a manipulative person, just human beings being human beings. And I feel like with the third party, Spirit's just kind of warning you to, I'm hearing like, don't waste time and money and energy trying to figure out the truth, because there's some method or something that someone's pulling the strings that you're not gonna fully get the truth. So maybe some of you guys have been going to multiple tarot readers to try to figure out what's going on, what's happening. And like, you know, you're like, all right, is somebody sneaking around? What is this? My eye keeps getting drawn to pile number 4 for some reason, with like the rainbows and all that. And I'm just kind of like, this message isn't really for you. You know what I mean? Like, I'm just kind of like, I'm hearing the word like take charge. I think you should really focus on yourself right now and being more in tune with your own intuition and kind of really gauging how much is this about you and your own insecurities versus another person. And I feel like the air is really muddied. So for example, if you've been like talking to multiple people to get like their perspective on a situation, it's okay to just take a time out and separate yourself from the chaos, kind of really get an objective view, because there's a lot of people out there that they have a voice and they have opinions, but that doesn't mean it's accurate. And it's not being influenced from bias information. You know what I mean? I'm hearing like confirmation bias. So for you guys, pile number 3, I feel like because you're really triggered by some behavior of some kind, this third party person, you're kind of like, well, is this a good person? Is this a bad person? Is something coming in between me and my person? It's like, I'm kind of hearing, you know, the devil's in the details, but like, you gotta watch the devil on your shoulder. And you're not like projecting things onto this person. You know, because like there's something about with this hat too, it's very neutral. And I kind of get the vibe of like, you're making assumptions because this person doesn't like have like a logo, or you can't clearly put them in a box somewhere, and you're immediately assuming that's a red flag. You know what I mean? When it's like, it's just neutral. You know what I mean? And it doesn't need to be any certain way. And like this person specifically does that so that way it kind of turns other people away or off, you know. I think this person just is really strategic and knows what they want and want to accomplish, and they don't want to get distracted or have bias placed onto them. I've got rainbows, so that's kind of more confirmation with rainbows. It says the most difficult part of a situation is over. Dragon, be aware of self-delusion. Quill, get back to the basics. Nest, an emotionally secure, loving family is important to you. Tankard, celebration, fun, and enjoyment. Carrot, opportunity or windfall. And then December. Interesting. So maybe you guys jumped to a conclusion about this person. I'm seeing with Quill, like maybe someone was planning on writing a message, or they're getting angry, and like Spirit's kind of saying get back to your basics and your principal values, because it's like, again, I get it, y'all are very upset about circumstances and what's going on between your person and this third party, but like, again, like I'm seeing with the rainbow here, it's like somebody's kind of happy, you know, like someone's just living their life, you know. And I think this third party person is either being ganged up on, or like, again, there's like a dragon, you know, so maybe someone's trying to fight a good fight. And again, with it says beware of self-delusion, it's kind of like Spirit's kind of reminding you to say, hey, you know, face your own demons first, you know what I mean? Or focus on what is the bigger picture here, you know what I mean? Because I kind of get this vibe of like, for example, like maybe someone's queer, okay, and at the same time they're tackling this other thing going on here. It's kind of like saying, hey, you don't have a right or entitlement to this person's backstory or demons or stuff that they're fighting. You know, they're going to give you the information that they're willing to give you, and that should be enough for you, you know. And like with Tankard, celebration, fun, and enjoyment, I feel like this person's just having a good time, you know. I really don't get the energy that this person's trying to do something wrong or being manipulative. So for example, if the person that you're interested in is single and they're hooking up with this person, it's okay. It's kind of none of your business, you know what I mean? And like, you know, this person is secure in themselves. They have a great family support system. Yeah. All right, we got 7 of Pentacles, the Tower, and the 9 of Wands. Okay, so something's kind of coming to a conclusion or chapter in your story with your person. And I don't know if you're maybe jealous of this third party. Again, my eye keeps getting drawn to like death metal. So maybe someone likes rock music, or they're kind of gothic, or somebody's out of your league, or I think there's just some kind of like an insecurity that you're concerned about with this other person, because you're trying so desperately to like latch onto your person and push this third party away from what they want and their truth. Meanwhile, this person's just trying to exist, you know, have a good time is what I'm hearing. And, you know, with opportunity or windfall, I feel like this person's just taking the opportunity to show up where they feel best, you know? With the Tower, though, I do feel like there's some kind of a moment or a conflict between either you two or their person, but it really feels like there's like a shadow aspect of this person that's reminding you of yourself and your body. So maybe you're really jealous of this partner because they look very attractive, or I'm hearing like pleasantly surprised at how much happier this person is, you know, with that other person, you know. And you maybe got rejected, or maybe you're feeling that kind of way. And sometimes it's kind of hard to look at those images, because you're like, okay, that's what this person wants. That's what that person's going through. And if they're not causing any harm to you or your person or anybody else, then why is it any of your business? So, 7 of Pentacles, I'm kind of seeing like this person is kind of growing kind of slowly at their own pace. So I can see them, maybe they like to garden, or maybe there's some kind of an energy where they're just like, yay, you know, like I'm just going through life, you know what I mean? Like they feel kind of younger, or maybe not necessarily younger, but maybe more innocent. Like I'm seeing like the butterflies and trying to just be making the best out of their situation in the moment. You know, again, like with this dragon, it's like you don't know what this person's been through. You know, so it's kind of like lay off the cyber stalking a little bit. with the Nine of Wands, I feel like you're projecting some kind of a family value on this person when it's kind of like it's just a different lifestyle than you. I'm hearing like there's something like about being encouraging or whatever, and it's like you're encouraging maybe like a narcissistic truth or something. Like there's kind of some kind of negative vibe you're pushing onto this person when it's like, no, they're just unaware. They're happy. They're kind of innocent, you know? And I keep hearing the word narcissist where I was like, this person's not a narcissist. Ugh. Yeah, there's just some kind of like a projection of evil towards this person just because they have what you want, and it's not exciting, it's not dramatic, it's just friends. Yeah, and that's the other thing too is like with your person, it's like they might not even be really that sexually involved with that person. You know, they could just be friends. You know, with the rainbow, maybe this person just makes that person happy for a while. You know, like you don't have to like really analyze into it. And it's kind of self-limiting and kind of turns your person off, if anything, kind of going after this person because they seem really sweet. And again, they see your projections. And we've got they will call, fantasizing, player, and solitude. Ooh, they will call. So there's something about like, there's something going on between you and the third party. Maybe there's a truth that needs acknowledgement, but there's like, they will call. And it's kind of like, I feel like this person isn't your enemy. They're willing to talk things out with you. And if anything, I could see them reaching out to you saying like, hey, like, I just want to know the truth. Like what happened here and whatever. With player, you know, maybe you're going to expose that your person that you're after is a player and play both of you. You know what I mean? I could definitely see this being like the other woman. And you're sitting there being like, oh my gosh, this is the bitch he cheated on me with. Meanwhile, she's sitting there being like, I didn't realize he was with you. Maybe we both got played. You know what I mean? And maybe that's something you're concerned about is you think that this person may be a bitch because they're like trying to get with this person and whatever, when it's just like she kind of feels innocent, or he fantasizing. Yeah, it's kind of like I feel like this person's just kind of role playing a fantasy. You know, maybe this is like an escape relationship. You know, maybe they're living out their dream life for now. But again, like with Rainbow, it's kind of just like something's over and they're just enjoying their happiness and peace while they have it. In Solitude, I feel like this third party person, they're taking a break, you know, either from your person or the situation, but they're kind of looking at you. Simply because maybe they were upset about something that you did or said, but they're kind of like moving towards you out of curiosity. And it really just kind of feels like there's like a truth that needs to be shared between you and this third party. You know, because maybe you're just like, oh my gosh, he cheated on me and he's with this girl. And so this person's like, honestly, like, okay, like, this person talked shit about you or they talked highly about you and then you did this and I want to understand why. You know, why was there an issue between you and your person? You know, I think you're just really hurt and biased. And again, with this player energy, it's kind of just like you, it kind of feels like you would just want to catch the perpetrator, or you want to just have like a very clear, like right and wrong answer when that's not really what's happening or going on. I'm hearing like places too. It's kind of like there's like a time and place and a way to go about holding someone accountable. And like, don't take away this person's happiness or destroy this person's reputation just because they're with your person. Like, no, it's not cool. You know, I'm like, stand up for other women. If your man's cheating on you with her and she doesn't know about it, he's probably cheating on her too. You know what I mean? Like, she probably believed all the lies just like you did. And I don't really see the point in trying to attack her first instead of having a conversation, because it's like, I think you gotta really take a step back and recognize that you're trying to fight over resources. You're not fighting over a guy, all right? You're fighting over something that you lack in your life currently. And that's why it's so difficult to remove the situation from you, because you've idealized and fantasized a life and an existence with this person that's not real. It's not grounded in reality, you know? And so everybody that doesn't fit the mold looks kind of blank. You know, they're just NPCs, I guess. They're just like other people, chess pieces in the way of your goal. And it's kind of like, guys, like, that's the demon you gotta face. The problem's not the person you're chasing, it's what are you actually after? Why are you holding space for someone who's gonna cheat on you or do terrible things to others? You know what I mean? And they're gonna go blame this innocent person who's gonna get trapped and wrapped up in this stuff. And even if your person did change, if they were an asshole, they're an asshole. You know, and you're allowed to speak your truth and also not call anybody out or a situation out. You know, like, again, with December, I don't know if something happened with family. Maybe there's a breakup, there's a separation. I don't know. Something's just not good, and something's going to be released. I'm kind of hearing, like, release the dogs, you know? I don't know why this happened. I have too much to lose. I see life differently now. Will you ever make things right? Yeah, I feel like your third-party person, again, with either they had a breakthrough recently, again, looking towards you, they're kind of like backtracking a little bit and evaluating the situation with your person. And with this, will you ever make things right? I feel like the third party starting to question things and question reality and trying to be like, you know, I noticed they're not really taking accountability, or they're coming across as someone who has to literally be like you have to really take this person down a notch in order to change, you know? And so that stubbornness is kind of a turn off to this person because this person feels a little flighty or a little flaky. And again, they're just there for a good time. You know, I kind of feel like soft girl vibes. They're just kind of like, no, I'm just here to have fun and enjoy myself. And if this starts getting dangerous or weird or tragic, I'm like, no. Because maybe there was a death recently that affected this person or the other person, and it's kind of just being like, yeah, I'm not really that invested. You know? Again, I think they care, but like it's kind of like, all right, I have to put this energy and vibes into words. So like, for example, I used to get really jealous of a certain kind of person because they never have to deal with the things that someone like me has to because of upbringing, because they happen to have a lot of privilege and blah, blah, blah. And I used to get really embarrassingly angry at this type of person, even though like really they weren't doing anything wrong, you know, but I was embarrassed because it always made me feel like I was doing something wrong because I couldn't handle something right or I couldn't do whatever. Meanwhile, now I'm like, well, you weren't raised with the tools to handle that. You know what I mean? That behavior was acceptable when it shouldn't have been, you know? And so it's kind of like now I have compassion for myself and that other person because I realized it was never about them. You know, they're just living their life and they're fine, but I wasn't fine. You know, and I think that's something that it's okay to admit to yourself that the reason why you're projecting this anger towards this other person is about you not getting your way and about you being hurt by being rejected by this person, by society, by others. And there's just kind of like this dark cloud hanging over you that really has to do with suspicion and naivety and being jealous that this person can be naive, that this person can just innocently be like, oh, I'm just going to have fun with this person and then leave, and then I'm going to go out and I'm going to be okay. Versus you had to sacrifice. You can't get away with just casually having fun with somebody like this and walking out of it scot-free. If anything, that pisses you off more because you're like, well, why did this person choose to hurt me? And then she gets away fine. You know what I mean? Like, it has nothing to do with you, but everything to do with you, if that makes sense. And like I don't know why this happened, you know, this person's probably genuinely curious, like what did happen between you two, you know? And with the I have too much to lose, it's kind of like to them, they're trying to play things safe and they, you know, they kind of want to avoid heartache too. You know, like I feel like this person's kind of just like, they don't have time, money, or energy to invest a lot into this kind of bullcrap. And with I see life differently now, it's kind of like this person was either exposed to something or you said something that really kind of showed proof of receipts. And so now they're kind of going, okay, maybe she wasn't the crazy ex, or maybe, I know what he meant when he said this thing towards me, with Rainbow and all that. So I just really feel like pile number 3, like, you're allowed to be upset, but you have to really make a choice on the carrot or the stick, in this relationship. And like, is it really worth taking down an innocent person in this, when it's just like, why not just hold your person accountable and see them for what they're worth, which isn't a lot. You know what I mean? Like, I feel like you're trying to stoop low. Like, look at this card with these cats. This is you, where you're fine, but you want to get down and dirty with this person that is down here being like, yeah, I want to get up here. And it's just like, no, they're supposed to stay at the bottom because they treat people like shit. Meanwhile, you're sitting there being like, no, I have an idealized version of you and you need to be up here with me, but if I gotta reach down and pull you up, you're just gonna fall over. Like, if that person's meant to be with you, let them do the work. If they're not doing the work, then tell them to get lost. Kick rocks. Focus on your own happiness, because again, the most difficult part of the situation's over. Okay? You kind of lost, but you gained yourself back. And I think you ruminating on the pain is what hurts you the most. Because it's not just about that person. It kind of never was. But it was about all of these dynamics and things tied into it, like the loss of a safe, loving family, maybe. Maybe you had that dream of building something with someone and then watching it all crash down again and again and again. Get back to your basics, get back to your roots. Start rebuilding from your truth now. Inwards, outwards. Instead of relying on the external and trying to base your value off of other people's choices. Because you can't control those. But what you can do is you can create solidarity with another peaceful person. And I think they'll respect you if you're honest. You could sit there and be like, yeah, I did fantasize about a relationship with them. Yeah, maybe I did come between you two. It wasn't intentional. Or maybe it was, but like, will you ever make things right? It's kind of like, are you going to take accountability of what you need to own? Will you make things right? If anything, it's not so much about these two, but it's about like, will you ever make things right within yourself? So that way you can let go. Because there's not anything you can really do about other people hurting you. It's about preventing harm from the future and honoring the parts and versions of you that were hurt. And like, why are you staying in a situation that hurts you time and time again? It isn't going to change. And it's almost like, I feel like you want to protect this person because you want to protect the piece of you that wasn't protected and all the shame and the guilt and what, blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, it's not about them. This person has stuff and support systems and networks that you don't. They already saw the writing on the wall, but they know how to navigate that situation in a way safely versus you don't. You don't agitate this person the same way. You don't have the same skills and technologies and opportunities that this person does. So like, why you're going after this person doesn't make any sense. I mean, it does make sense when you get down into like the trauma and the weeds, but that's kind of the whole point, is like, you're accusing an innocent person of belief systems that you don't even know. Again, my eye keeps getting drawn to death metal. Let me pull a card for that. What does that kind of mean? The Star. Aww. Yeah. Okay, so like the Star card, that's like one of the most optimistic cards in the deck, because it's all about like a bright, shiny future, being guided, opportunities, and like, endless limits. And yeah, it's kind of like this person evoked your villain era. You know, they killed that spark or that star. Or maybe you believed in it and then you gave them the power to take that away from you. And I'm like, no. You saw the star. A star doesn't go away just because there's clouds. It's going to come back. Don't give your ex the power, that kind of power over you. Never. Okay? Like, again, with like that death metal energy, it's almost like, again, I see the person being like, I'm going to be all angry and mean because of what happened to my ex. And it's just like, let it go. You don't have to become somebody you're not in order to be healthy again. You know, that's your truth. Healthiness is so much more beneficial and worth your time than getting readings about this person anymore, or about this situation or this person. Okay, y'all? Sending you a lot of love. Because I know it hurts. Like, I've been this person. You know, that's why I'm giving you the honest truth of, like, this is how you get through it, is you want that emotional, stable, secure, loving family. And that was never going to happen with this person. No matter how much you fantasize about it, romanticize about it, manifest it, make your candles, whatever. And that's the lesson you got to learn as soon as possible. Because once you restore that power back to you, yeah, it's almost like with this cat, like, it feels like a cat that's, like, reluctant to look at the light, you know? Like, you're kind of just being like, no. I refuse to see my own light and my own truth because it's their fault. It's like, okay, but, like, you're not going to get anywhere to where your goals are at unless you do something to follow the star. And again, that's your North Star, nobody else's. And it's like, how are you expecting to manifest the life of your dreams when you don't even want to connect to yourself? You know what I mean? Because it's your dreams. So why are you hurting yourself? Again, I hear like backed against the wall and blah, 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 blah. Or like back in my day, and it's like, it's the past. Move on, move forward, get over it. And you're like, well, I can't get over it. And it's like, everything I just talked about, that's the dragon. Okay, that's the thing you got to focus on. Is like, why am I projecting onto this person? Why does someone younger than you, more attractive than you, set you off? Does it make you feel unworthy? Worthless? Sit with it. Let this person know that you think they're beautiful and are inspiring and whatnot. It's okay to admit that. Because you have all the potential yourself. And if anything, it seems like you probably have similar qualities. And that's why you're like, well, why did they choose her over me? It's like, well, because you're you. If anything, it's protection from this person. It has nothing to do with you. Okay? And maybe it does, but like, at this point, you've kind of beaten the situation to death with a stick. And all you're doing is hurting yourself by looking back instead of forward. And I get it. It's hard. But like, you have to, when you look back, look at the pain and look at the why. You're treating this person like an object instead of like a potential friend or a frenemy or someone who did you dirty. And again, I just hear like that narcissism. It's just kind of like, take a deep breath and look at the wound. Just look at it, acknowledge it, and see what that does to help you shift. And, you know, as always, I'm a big advocate for talking to a therapist, so please go check them out. I do have discount codes for therapy on my LinkedIn, or my Linktree, so make sure you check that out in the links down below. Yeah, I just see with that death metal and that happy energy, I think a lot of your pain is just moving forward means letting go of that promise, that future that you made in your head that you really wanted so badly. And I just want you to understand that you still have a great opportunity for a future, just not with this person. That's okay. Seriously, like, It's seriously not, it wasn't meant to work out that way. And it's okay. You know, you're gonna go back and you're gonna laugh about this situation. Seriously. But once you kind of clear all this crap out, clear your past out, get over some of these insecurities and anxieties, and walk forward with confidence, you're not really gonna remember why you were hung up over this person in the first place. Because again, it's all about you, and it's kind of always been about you. So own your light. Don't give your power away to anybody like that, you know, and practice reclaiming it. Because when it comes back, you know, it's kind of like having the light out here. When you bring the light in, you're going to see the darkness, and then that's how you're going to clear it out. So again, I don't think you're a bad person. I don't think you wish this person truly ill. I think you're just really, really hurt and biased and don't have the tools to handle confrontation or difficult thoughts and feelings. That's okay. But that's why we're working on this together, you know? I believe in you, sending you big hugs, you know, because again, that resentment is real and it hurts, but at the end of the day, your truth and your life matters more than some kind of a fantasy, you know, because you deserve something that's real and grounded and based in truth and something that you want and the other person wants as well. Anyways, y'all, thank you for stopping by. Please like, subscribe, comment down below if this resonated with you. As I said before, check out the links in the description down below if you want, you know, some discounts, as well as booking a session with me, and check out my website, blog, all that good stuff. I will see you all next time. Take care. Bye. Hello, everyone. You have chosen group number 4, or pile number 4, with death metal. And these are going to be your messages on the third party person, which, not gonna lie, y'all, it sounds like y'all are having some fun. So I don't know if this is you or the third party person. It kind of feels more like you, because with death metal, I'm just like, yeah. So like maybe you guys like going to concerts, or maybe you're just out here living your life, having a good time. And then like, you know, with these bats, it's almost like this third party person's kind of like this dark energy that's in the background, interrupting the rainbow, the situation and the scene, and you're just sitting there being like, I don't know what's going on. Does this person dislike me? Do they hate me? Do they wish me ill? Like, what's going on? You know what I mean? Because it could also be too, like, you and your boyfriend, you're like, oh yeah, we went to a movie and blah blah blah. And maybe this person's jealous of you. I get strong envy vibes. Or just, there's just some kind of unhealthy attachment, either to your partner or to you. But I feel like it's your person, you know, because they're like, it was kind of interesting because even using the word partner, they were like, not partner, person. And I'm just like, okay, why does that matter? I don't know. It's like, kind of like a dark energy, or like a darkness overshadowing the connection. Oh my gosh, it's so funny too, because I was sitting there thinking, I was like, you're the third party to this person, and you're like, where, this is my boyfriend. Oh my gosh, that's so funny. Oh my god. I'm sorry, I just keep laughing because, like, so definitely pile number 3 is the perspective of this person, because I just remember when I was reading pile number 3, I kept looking over at your sticker and I was just like, what the fuck? And like, I see you guys literally just sitting there being like, yeah, we're just having a good time. I don't understand why this person's so obsessive or upset. And you're like, is there something that they went through? Like, why are they so angry or obsessive? Yeah, because maybe you're like, this is a stalker or whatever, and you're just like, okay, this person's weird. 9 of Pentacles in reverse. 6 of Wands and the World in reverse. Okay. So I feel like this third party person is kind of weird because I was almost tripping up saying group four or pile four, but then third party, it's kind of like maybe there's a fourth person involved in this. I don't know. There's some kind of like a secret I was hearing, but with the world in reverse, this third party person kind of has a negative outlook on life. They went through some shit. Okay, so like again, I see them being like, yes, I am finally able to be in my villain era, blah blah blah. Meanwhile, you're just like, why can't we all just get along? You know, y'all are sitting there just like, there's nothing wrong. Why are all there? Like, y'all, no offense, Pound Number Four, y'all are the kind of people like, you're just here for the party and a good time. I don't see you guys liking, you absolutely hate conflict, but you also don't like learning about like the big picture or the nuances to stuff because you're just like, yeah, it just makes me feel a certain kind of way, so I'm just not interested. So when someone who's been really impacted by the negative things that go on in the world, either you see this, you villainize this person, or this person is kind of like a dark cloud hanging over you. And you're just like, oh, they gotta chillax, which I agree. I agree. This person needs to chill. Clearly. But I think also, too, you're missing some of the nuances of why. And there's some kind of a projection, too, because I'm also seeing, like, with, like, the bat wings, it's almost like I'm hearing, like, Batman, you know, vigilante energy. Or there's something about this person that they just don't show up the way that you like. And I think it's really hard for you to accept. I'm almost hearing like I was gonna say the word negativity, and I was like, yes and no, because like I definitely called out the last pile because again, even if pile number three doesn't resonate with the person, this third party person, I just kind of get this vibe of like you're not really seeing this person accurately, or you're kind of giving them like again, Batman versus Dracula. You're seeing Dracula, meanwhile this person's Batman. It's like, okay, maybe they just got a more edgy costume than you. Ooh. I'm sorry, I'm just laughing because I'm thinking of a particular couple right now in my life, and I'm just sitting there looking at that person. I was like, oh my gosh, she's so sweet and whatever, but I'm also sitting there like, do you also know what you're getting involved in? And she's like, yeah. Or like I can tell it's just like, yeah, okay, we're here for a good time. But I'm sitting here like, do you not see the horrible things going on around you? What this person's doing? And it kind of creates like this cognitive dissonance that this person is just like overwhelmed by. Because they're genuinely just crashing out because they're like, how could you sit there and talk to this person who's hurt all these people and blah 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 and blah 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 blah, and then you're just sitting there like, what do you mean? uh, I hurt this person? Huh? I don't know. I just feel like again, you try to focus on the positive, and like with metal, it's kind of like you're just kind of like, yeah, like I like rock music, but like I don't like death metal. You know what I mean? It's like that's just like a little too hard. So this is almost like I'm thinking like spicy food where you're just like, "Oh yeah, I'll go get curry, but I need like the mildest thing possible." So I just think you guys have like different ideals, and that's why when it comes to like a fourth party, you know, because I'm sitting here just like, why is there a fourth person? Like again, I don't know if your person's cheating or maybe this third party was dating somebody and it caused a conflict between you and your person, or if there's some kind of weird. Honestly, pile number four, I don't really. um I'm gonna be straight, I don't know how to best relate to your pile. But there's something about you that's like really mentally healthy, and you're kind of involved in a mess that I don't think you realize is bigger than you, or something that's been going on. Like, I could see you being like, oh my gosh, I just showed up and decided to date this person because I thought they were cool and I like their social media and blah blah blah. And then all of a sudden you're like, oh Lord, this is a war zone. I did not know that there was this, and this. But like, you don't ask too many questions, you know, because you're just like, you're faithful. You assume your partner's telling you the truth and you're like, oh, it's okay, whatever, blah, blah, blah. And like, meanwhile, this person's like, you're privileged. And like, you really receive that quote unquote negativity really harshly. You're kind of just like, oh my gosh. Versus like, I feel like this person's very hurt and they probably have good messages, but the way they're going about things is not right. You know what I mean? It's really turning off the people around them or whatever, and like accountability. And it's kind of just like, yeah, but also you kind of need to sit with the negativity at a certain point, because to me, I was like, if someone's hurting people, people deserve to know. You know what I mean? Like, I don't think that's okay to completely push that aside, you know? And if it's the truth, then it's the truth, you know? And maybe you don't like that, but I think maybe just hearing this person out when they're not super upset and angry looking and on their warpath, maybe you could then try to figure out, like, okay, what actually did happen here? You know, because I feel like this person has knowledge, or I heard the word like explosive. I think you're just afraid that this person's gonna crash out on you, or they're gonna explode on you or fight you. And I'm like, I don't necessarily think that's true. Some people, yeah, but like, it's almost like I hear like talking out of the side of my mouth. I kind of get the vibe that you're kind of used to seeing people like this be vilified, not taken seriously, when it's kind of like, well, maybe you should maybe stick it out and listen to what this person has to say. You know, because like with the breakup, it's kind of like maybe this is a person's ex, or your person's ex, or somebody, and if they know something, then and they're making a big deal about it, like maybe it's worth investigating. You know, it's like I just feel like this person knows a truth. It does not necessarily mean it's your truth, the truth, or valid. But I'm just saying that there's a perspective here that you're kind of missing the context for. You know, because you may have gotten one version of the story, but this person has a piece that clearly makes them upset. And so that might be worth listening to. That's Spirit's, you know, advice. You know, because again, I think, like, for example, accusations of abuse, cheating, all that stuff, I think that might be worth looking into. Now, if it's something where they're just like, I don't like that she's spending time with him because that's my person, that's different. Okay, that's completely different. That's really a mature energy. But like, again, going forward, you know, it's kind of like, this feels like the OG person, or like one of those people where they're like, well, you know, this person's one of those, like, they like pop music. You know, back in my day, rock music used to sound like this, you know, and I'm a hardcore, like, I'm a real metal fan because I like death metal, and you're just kind of like, I'm just here for the vibes. You know what I mean? I just got a crush. I'm not invested. I'm not hardcore like you. You know, you're kind of, again, soft girl era. You're just like, I don't know, you seem fun. I feel like I'd be like, oh yeah, let's go get mimosas. You know, and maybe that's this person too. Like, maybe if this person kind of, I had to explain to them that, like, whatever hurt them in the past, like, you're just there for a good time. So if you're not there to hurt them and whatever, they're probably gonna, you know, choose a different path, you know, in their approach towards you, or leave you alone, you know, because I feel like you're afraid this person's like watching you and stalking you and whatever. And I'm like, I think they're angry and they watch, but I don't think that's accurate. You know what I mean? Like, I kind of get the vibe that this person's more like on the lookout for, again, Batman vigilante vibes. Like, all right, is he gonna beat this girl? Is he gonna whatever? And you're just like, whoa, that's like a harsh accusation. And this person's like, I know. And you're like, oh, well, that's not what he told me. And it's like, yeah, but look at all this evidence. You know what I mean? It's just one of those things where, like, again, how valid it is, take it for a grain of salt, but, you know, I also heard something about LGBTQ too. It's like, it's kind of just like, it's worth pointing out that someone that's been repeatedly hurt by somebody isn't going to always have the best attitude towards people that they perceive is going to hurt them. Moving forward, we've got younger woman, dealings or relationship with a younger woman, not unsuccessful plans, forest, muddled, unclear thinking, and goldfish, increase in material wealth or spiritual growth. Yeah, so I feel like this person's been growing and working towards a better version of themselves. So again, if this is like your person's ex or somebody significant from their past, this person has been working on themselves. They've been working towards healing. They've been working towards their truth. You know what I mean? They've been fighting their demons, you know, or at least they're working towards it. And I think you have to acknowledge that, like, that's very different energy than someone who is, I don't know. There's something about, like, I feel like I keep wanting to justify this person's behavior when I shouldn't, when I'm like, well, I think you guys, pile number 4, need to trust your truth the most, okay? Because, like, again, I think the reason why I'm getting confused, pile number 4, I'm sorry, I think it's just because, like, there's sometimes this energy, they're the bad guy, and there's sometimes this energy is they're confused. You know what I mean? And trying to protect themselves. And so I think that's where Spirit's kind of guiding me to just say, be careful about my word choice, because I don't want to sit there and demonize someone that doesn't deserve it, but also I want to keep y'all safe, you know, because if this person truly is the crazy ex-girlfriend, you know, like, you know, be prepared, you know, don't use your good judgment, you know. So for example, with younger woman, you know, I could definitely see this as being like a person that's younger than you and having a hard time accepting your relationship with this person. So, for example, I could see, like, maybe you're closer in age to your partner, and then this younger woman is coming in kind of jealous and being like, oh my gosh, she's with my man, ha ha ha. And, like, you know, like, I'm prettier than her, or I'm whatever. And it's kind of like, yeah, maybe I was a death metal fan back in the day, and just because I don't look like it doesn't mean I'm not, you know, an OG fan, you know, just because I don't dress a certain way doesn't mean I don't like it, you know. But again, you're there because you're happy. This person's just jealous. Yeah, and they're not really thinking clearly right now because of whatever pain they're going through. With unsuccessful plans and the knot. Oh my gosh, I'm hearing like the knot. Maybe this person wanted to marry your person. And they were unsuccessful in winning their affection or their attention. Maybe this person didn't understand your person. But again, I kind of feel too that you're also kind of looking at this person. You're checking out this person's past and their path. And Spirit's also saying, like, it's okay to, like, look next to you and acknowledge what's happening with your partner. You know, because if this person that you're dating has a past, I just feel you deserve to know the truth so that way you can make a judgment on what's safe for you. You know, with like the goldfish. Oh my gosh. Wait a second. Oh, don't tell me. What the fuck? Okay, I'm sorry guys. Like, I'm like tripping. Where is it? Yeah. So there's a pile. I don't know if it was group 1 or 2. But with the Page of Cups, I had a whole speech about this person who was cheating on somebody. Like the third party was the one that was triangulating a relationship or something. And this person was just staring at this goldfish, waiting. And like predatory. And then with the goldfish here, like, I don't know if you're that goldfish or there's some kind of a dynamic here where this person's just kind of like, they don't know what else to do with their life. Because when they go home, it's empty. And so when they're looking at you, pile number 4, it's kind of like that's all they have to focus on. Because they don't have anything else going for them. Dang. That's like abusive and shitty. Ew. Yeah, there's just something kind of not okay behavior here. All right, that's weird. Okay. I know you don't feel the same. I want to make amends. I am not over you. I daydream about a life with you. I miss seeing you. Yeah. Yeah. Okay. Oh, God, this person's embarrassing. I'm feeling all of this embarrassment and shame. So, again, maybe this person tries to portray themselves as stronger than what they are because they struggle dealing with the truth. There's that I know you don't feel the same. So, like, this person's in denial that this person doesn't like them. I'm not over you, which is true. This person's definitely not over your person if they have feelings, or towards the fourth party, which that comes up. I daydream about a life with you. Yeah, this person's very idealistic and is using your person and your dynamic to daydream, escape their reality and their struggles. And it's kind of like, yeah, aw. I'm sorry. Like, this is that same grief I felt in the last pile because it's like this person's. It's kind of like this person's just happiness melted. You know what I mean? It's. Okay, so, okay. I'm going to humanize this energy a little bit. I'm not saying no excuses for poor behavior, but like this person has a really deep grief around the death of their dreams. You know, because like when I'm looking at the sticker, it's like the death metal, it's like all above the clouds and whatever, and it's kind of like you kind of came in and just shat on their happy place. Like, it's kind of like they had a dream with this person. They projected a fantasy or a reality or a truth onto this person. Because I don't think this person is fully delusional. You know, I think there was maybe a legit claim at some point, but like it just kind of gives this vibe of it's like, yeah, the death of my dreams. So like they may be projecting their own grief onto your situation with your person. Meanwhile, you're sitting there like, we're cool. You know, we're happy over here. And yeah, I think that's why that person's just so hell bent on not giving up on this connection because it really feels like they can't let go of a death in their own life. But it just really feels like the death of their happiness. You know, like some maybe semi delusional piece of them truly believes that this person was going to make them happy. And now that the daydream's over, it's like, what do I do now? I'm gonna go be Batman. Aww. I'm sorry. Like, this makes me feel really sad for this person. It's their truth. Again, they're probably weird. There might be something mentally wrong with them, but like, I do think one of the truths that wants to be acknowledged here, because I'm not justifying their behavior, but it really feels like this person cared deeply. And with like the I want to make amends, like I do feel like this person just wants closure, you know, and trying to make amends with somebody so that way they can move forward. And there's something about like they kind of know already what you mean to this person or what's going on because again it's kind of like I think this person just got really jealous over the truth of like this person wants maybe like your person wants a younger woman, wants somebody different, wants to go out and do whatever. So maybe this person's older than you, so that's like kind of the reverse, but like only take what resonates with these. But yeah, I could kind of see this person being like, wow, he left someone that was important to him for the younger model. Meanwhile, she wasn't important to him at all. You know what I mean? But like they believed it. Whether your person lied or this person's delusional, whatever, that's just where this person is. And again, I'm just really feeling like this pile number 4, you guys kind of have to know your situation specifically. because for some people, this is the crazy ex, and for other people, this is like a, your person's kind of not so good. So you know the situation best for you. But like I miss seeing you. It's like, yeah, this person really misses your ex. And I think they just want acknowledged. You know? Something about like the life they could have had. I don't know though, but like part of me also feels like it's not their responsibility. You know, it's not your responsibility. I'm sorry. Like, I can hold space for someone's authentic truth and pain and whatever, but also I'm kind of like, you gotta go to therapy and work on that on your own. Don't get these people involved. You know what I mean? Like, again, abuse is a different story, but like, otherwise, like, that nasty energy needs to go over there. Can't move on. All in my head. Drama. Let them go. Yeah, I feel like this person would cause discourse between you and your person, or they just have beef with your person of some kind. So I don't even know if they'd involve you or not. Maybe if they knew the truth or knew your truth, they might just be like, oh, okay. Because like, for example, for the last pile, it was like, for some of them, they're like, oh my gosh, you're dating my abusive ex. And when they find out that, oh, you're just a placeholder girlfriend or whatever, then they're like, oh, okay, whatever, you're fine. Let's go get mimosas. You know what I mean? So that's why it's kind of like, if your partner isn't like the secret abuser, you know, then they're not going to have that reaction, you know, but I still think they need to work on their issue with this other person, because like that grief isn't going to go away regardless of what you say or do. Yeah, all in my head. Yeah, they're just really stuck in their head and trapped, and, you know, sitting there praying and wishing, please let them go. You know what I mean? I'm like, your manifestation candle isn't gonna make you two break up. You know what I mean? Like, I don't know what the fuck you want. Sorry, I'm being a little harsh, but, you know, I'm kind of fed up with this person's energy, because I'm just like, dude, come on. Let them go! Let them go be free! Anyways, y'all, thank you guys so much for stopping by. Please like, subscribe, and comment down below if this resonated with you. If you're interested in booking a session with me, check out the links down below. And or if you need some therapy, there's on my link tree, there's like a code for some discounted therapy. Anyways, y'all, I will see you all next time. Take care, bye! Hello, everyone. You have chosen pile number 5, and these are going to be your messages on the third party person. So 2 things I picked up on with you guys right away. First off the bat, I was like, you guys are so happy. And then the other thing was like, who is this person? So with this third party energy, like, this doesn't feel normal or right. I'm not gonna lie. Because like the happiness I felt, at first I was just like, yay, oh my gosh, but I'm like, it's fake. And like, I have like a really dark undertone here. And again, with this whole, like, you don't know who this person is, this is kind of different than the other piles, because there's like a belief system that's blocking this situation or this person from coming through. I don't know, you're divinely protected from this person, but like, this third party doesn't know you the way that spirit knows you. And I kind of get the vibe that this person's very territorial. They feel kind of spiritual or spiritual minded, but they hide behind a truth or a happy mask, right? So like, they know the rules, and you're not playing by the rules anymore. So they're like, okay. Like, so for those of you that play video games, I'm thinking of Flowey, the flower. Like, this is like modern day psychopath. Like, it reminds me of like those AIs that like they're trying to kill you, but they're like, hold still and be happy, you know? Either from Fallout. So maybe this person plays video games. Maybe they see you online and showing a happy face. You know, maybe somebody works for the government, or has really strict belief systems. Because to me, I was like, working for the government, like, are you political or something? It's like, no. They just can't feel things. And that's why I was like, third party, if you don't know who this person is, like, maybe you guys picked this pile because you're like, all right, is my partner cheating on me? And it's like, yeah? Question mark? I was like, is that cheating or is it... Yeah, like, yeah, somebody's cheating. Or is this your partner? Yeah, someone's trying to triangulate a mess. Because, okay. This is weird. I gotta, like, ground for a second. Oh, this is a spiritual narcissist. Okay. Okay, interesting. Yeah, because I thought one of the other pals had a narcissist. This one's the watch out abuser narcissist type. Because what this person's kind of doing is like, this feels like your person and the third party's your goal or what you're working towards, but you don't know that because your energy's put towards this person, or you're allowing some kind of this energy in your space or your home that's not good for you. Spear. Okay, oof. That was weird. So I heard the word Shakespeare for some reason. So maybe someone's into theater, they're an actor or an actress. Yeah, heartache over what you no longer have. I'm also seeing like... So in this card, it looks like it's a spear going into the heart, but I was also hearing like a pomegranate. So this kind of gives me like really old archetype. Because I'm thinking of like Poseidon and Zeus. And so again, that's more of like really classic theater. So maybe this person has an education, or there's like an old energy or old school. Yeah, but I kind of see this person like having the energy of like, you know, stabbing someone in the heart, or like being a hunter, for example. So maybe someone hunts for a living. We have Candle. You will be shown the way. I'm also hearing from Star Wars, this is the way. Or maybe this person likes Star Trek. Cracked Cup. Maybe you rejected this person. Yeah, because I was like, it was weird because when I smiled, I just heard like the liquid in my mouth. So maybe someone likes your voice, or like they're kind of like, you rejected me and sent me over the edge and blah, blah, blah. And I was like, no, you're already kind of crazy. We've got wealth, misunderstanding, dissatisfaction with life, angel, spiritual guidance and protection from harm, staff. You will be taken care of in difficult times. Yeah, I'm trying to not scare you guys. Tile number 5, but I was like, this person, this energy, you're protected, but you gotta protect yourself. Like, hardcore, stop engaging with this person, stop posting selfies on social media or being public, or like there just needs to be some kind of like discipline to protect yourself from this kind of energy, because this person's like, like I could see this person being like, I'm pro LGBTQ, blah blah blah, but then you're like kind of feeling like it doesn't really feel like it. Like it kind of feels like there's something off between you and this person, and so you're kind of sitting there and be like, that's a front, you know what I mean? And then when people figure out that it's a front, they like immediately like, upside down, I'm evil. Yeah. So like this person has a dissatisfaction with life, but I think a lot of it's just they just don't feel emotions. Yeah, like they genuinely struggle feeling emotions and things. With the you will be shown the way, I feel like it's kind of like they track your progress over time, or they have been for a while. That's why I was like, oh, they work for the government because maybe they're like cyber stalking you or something. And they just don't understand spiritual people because they don't believe in God, or they just are like, maybe they are spiritual, but it's again spiritual narcissism. And there's things they can't control, you know? So I could see them being like, all right, like, I'm thinking of like with Stranger Things, with the government working with the psychic people and trying to master that and blah 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 and use psychic abilities to be responsible and whatever. Meanwhile, you're just like, I'm gonna put these flowers by my altar and have a candle and like, you're divinely protected and guided, so you're always one step ahead of them. And they're unsure what it is, and it's kind of like right now I'm like feeling all like the brightness and the light, and like with the misunderstanding, it's like I don't know if this person has a fear of spirituality or spiritual people. I feel like this person has a lot of money, or this person's used to money just falling into their lap, or wealth. So again, with spiritual narcissism, it's kind of like you don't play by the rules, so they're going to cut you off financially. They're going to find ways of upending your movement, whatever it is you're doing, because then people will become dissatisfied with their life or begin to really start to understand that, oh, this is a fucking narcissistic piece of shit. With Angel, like I kind of view this person views you as an angel, and they don't like that. I'm sorry. This channeling this energy is terrifying, but I'm gonna keep doing it for you guys so that way you understand what you're engaging with. But like, they hate that about you. Like everything. Like I'm looking at this angel energy. I'm like, oh my god, they're so sweet. Like, what's wrong with you? And it's kind of like, I know what's wrong with me. I don't like you. And it's kind of like, this is the kind of person that's like, yeah, I want to exterminate people like that. With staff too, it's like I kind of get the vibe of like Moses, so I can see this person being very entitled. Someone who was maybe taught magic at birth, or like, I'm hearing like blood magic, or like with difficult times, like they rely on really toxic spirituality to get by, and how they understand things in the world. And again, with like the staff, I'm also hearing like, it might be like toxic Christianity, but even then, some of this isn't really even religion. But it's kind of like what they talked about even in the Bible, where it's like I see like the snake wrapped around the staff, and I think of like when Moses was showing Pharaoh the power of God, he took a staff and turned it into a snake and fought this other snake and ate it whole. It was kind of like God was literally telling Pharaoh, hey, I'm real. You better listen to me. And this kind of feels like that Pharaoh energy of being like, nope, I'm not going to let your people go. I'm not going to let your people go. And God's like, okay. Like, they're going to be safe, but you're going to pay for all of that energy. You're going to have all of that negativity back. And then yeah, that's the message, fam. Decision, unsent messages, erased, friendship. So whoever this third party person is, I feel like, again, it's their spiritual belief system. Because I heard it's almost like this person was robbed. Maybe at an early age. Maybe it's genetic. There's something very hidden about them. They're very secretive. Yeah, I just see like their eyes being covered. But like friendship, I feel like this person, they could be your best buddy for years. They'd show up to your birthday parties. They'd know all your deepest secrets. And then they'd turn on you the moment the time is right. But to them, it would be like losing a flower or losing a petal off their face. Because I feel like the more exposure they get about what their truth is, the harder it is to hide. And it's like, and then there's like truth version 2. And so you'll kind of notice this person rotate stories as they talk about their version of events and their frequency. As they raise their frequency in higher vibration and get more powerful, they're more open to opportunities, so that way they don't have to play pretend anymore. Yeah, and I was like seeing the word like feminine. So again, this could be a woman, but it's also could be a masculine or someone who plays both. And I'm hearing like projection and stuff. Yeah, it's like, it's almost like this person, like, they look really sweet in photos. Or maybe they were a different person in the past, and then they sort of just evolved into whatever this person is. I'm like, no, I don't think so. I think they were always capable of it. And it's like, for example, like I think of Christy Nome shooting the dog. You know what I mean? Where it's like, yeah, I'm protecting myself and blah, blah, blah. And then it's just something like, boom. And you're like, oh, you're on a different vibe, sister. And it's like, uh-huh. Yeah. And so, like, what I feel like with this person is they're trying to break you down and they're trying to keep you a secret, and they're keeping something special from you. You know? Like, I feel like this person's heart doesn't work quite right. And with the candle, I feel like just using your intuition and guidance and clearing this energy away from your life will be especially important in the next coming months and next few years. With decision, I've made up my mind. I'm not wasting any more time. I feel like this person's already made a decision about you, but they're kind of distracted right now. So there's some kind of like a frequency change that you're going through. With unsent messages, I feel like maybe you've talked to this person in your past. Maybe you're distressed over what it is they could say in retaliation, and Spirit's just like, no. With erased, though, there's something about like God's gonna help erase this energy from your life and keep it clear, or keep you clear of it, but you have to let it go, move forward, change your pace, change your tone. I was like, change your name, and it's like, you don't need to go that far. But like, I don't want to feed into too much paranoia, but like, again, there's something hidden here that you're like exposing slowly, truthfully, and Spirit wants to keep doing what you're doing, but like, you know, your intellect arouses me. They don't like that you're smart. They don't like that you can acknowledge your truths, that you don't play by the rules. Again, there's like certain social rules that narcissists and sociopaths and all these people play. And they don't like it when you expose them or show them for who they are and what they are. And that you can heal, because they can't heal. And they don't even, some of them don't even know they're narcissists. Like, that's what's kind of scary about these kinds of people. It's kind of like when you're talking to them and you're like, oh yeah, this is a really sweet person. And then like they drop something really, really sus. And you're like, you know, and you think like they're the greatest people. You know what I mean? Fantastic. So generous and kind. And then you're like, it's all for show. You know what I mean? Meanwhile, they got like a kid trapped in the basement. Totally okay with torturing an animal. I have trouble with intimacy. I'm not financially stable. I do love you. And I saved your texts and messages. Oh, God, yeah. Like, I feel like these people are keeping a log or a track of everything that you say and post online. So be careful what you say, but, like, don't sugarcoat your belief system because you're afraid of this energy. Because, like, all I'm seeing is this is going to backfire. Again, like, I'm almost feeling like my throat is closing up because they want you to be scared. And Spirit's like, no, I've got you. Just be gentle on yourself. You know, I do love you. No. This person's not capable of love in the frequency that you're on. And I'm not financially stable yet. So there's something about this person that this is kind of like their last move or final play before you really get moving. Because there's something about them that they're playing games and tricks. So maybe they're pretending like they're not financially stable when they're loaded. Or maybe there's something about like with I have trouble with intimacy, or like, you know what I mean? There's just like weird little lies that they tell to play off their manipulation, you know? But I think like with financially stable, they're only financially stable because they're making money off of the things that you don't want to exist in that way. Or as they're putting it, in the correct order of things. And you're like, I don't even know what I'm doing. I'm just literally saying, hey, let's feed the kids. This person's like, no, you're not. You're sowing discord. You're upending order of things. It's like you're supposed to let people pretend that you care about the kids, but we're actually in charge here. Five of Pentacles in reverse, King of Pentacles, and the Seven of Cups in reverse. So it's interesting because, like, it's weird that this person's pissed off that people are drinking less, you know, which makes it a lot less easier to manipulate someone. You know, that's why, like, smoking marijuana. They want people high and not engaging with things, but they don't want them healing. King of Pentacles. It's almost like I keep hearing Knight of Pentacles. And I was like, no, that's a king. You know what I mean? Like, this third party person knows that you're financially abundant and secure. And it's kind of like you don't need to reach up and get the coin. Money just comes to you. You're worth a lot. It gravitates to you. Versus this person, they have to pick off people like you so that way they can take that money and wealth for themselves. Because, like, there's grifting and then there's this. This is, like, sociopath. And with, like, Five of Pentacles in reverse, this person is, like, spiritually bankrupt. You know, and it talks about poverty, and it just kind of feels like all of this money and wealth is built on lies in a system that doesn't actually work. But it works for this person, and that's all they care about. And as long as people are afraid of this person, they're going to do as they say. But not when you've got someone spiritually guided and devoted to the truth and love and healing and all that stuff. Like, you're going to upend everything that this person's set up for generations just for speaking out, saying what you mean and feel, and keeping you trapped from your person. I don't know, like, that's why I'm kind of just like, I kind of want to know, what is this person's relationship to your person? So, oh, it feels like this is like a gift. So maybe like when you overcome this frequency or anxiety, that's when you're going to know the truth of who your person is. Because, like, some of you guys, you've been looking for soulmates for years, and I was like, I don't think you understand, like, this person or this system's intentionally disrupting people. So, like, yeah, the Sun in reverse, Five of Cups, Three of Cups, the Devil, and Two of Swords. These are some repeat cards. The Sun in reverse kind of tells me that this other person's just going through it. Five of Cups is kind of like crying over spilled milk. So maybe an ex. Maybe they still have feelings for you or for someone else. And like this Devil energy comes between the two of you because it's exposure to harm that this person's done. But this feels like more systemic. So, for example, like the Three of Cups in reverse, that's all about like friendships and unity. In reverse, it's like, in regards to your person, it's keeping your person trapped and alone and in a cycle and stirring the pot. You know what I mean? So, like, maybe your person believes in something really strongly and like truth, but they can't see you because they haven't seen you shine. There's the devil energy. So I'm specifically visualizing a person from my past, and it's almost like with this devil energy, like you got exposed to someone and someone's truth. I don't know. I was like, I just keep hearing like maybe you demonize someone without really getting to know them. Or, this person's angry at the injustice of the world, but they can't really do much about it. And then there's like the Two of Swords here in reverse, where it's kind of like you kind of are frozen with this energy around, or this person's frozen. Because, like, it's kind of like choosing between a rock and a hard place. It's like, all right, well, I have to stay civil or do this thing, otherwise this person's going to kill my whole family. Or, like, I almost see this like the sun in Mario that swings down and tries to kill Mario. That's kind of the energy it feels like. And I know that seems really harsh and it doesn't justify this person's behavior, but it's kind of like with this devil energy, it's like this kind of energy brings out the worst in people and comes between people that should be together. And I think, like, with both of you, your truths will, or something about like a sacrifice, like you have to sacrifice something in order to stop this energy. And I think it's kind of like commitment to each other, to the truth, and the secret. Truth version 2. Maybe it's a little less accurate, but now I'm seeing like talking out of the right side of my mouth. Interesting. So it almost feels like an energy of like unintegrated between right brain and left brain. Something not talking to each other and keeping people separated. Yeah, I'm wondering if this third party isn't even a person, it's an energy, a disruptor, a genetic storyline. Interesting. Well, I figure y'all received the messages that you needed to hear. Please like, subscribe, comment down below if this resonated with you. If you're interested in booking a message with me, links are in the description down below. And yeah, wishing you guys the best of luck in your situation. If you need to contact a mental health professional or somebody, check out my website. I have a webpage that's devoted to professional resources. So, if you're struggling with your mental health or need assistance, that's a great place to check out. Anyways, y'all, see you all next time. Take care. Bye.